Greetings, 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 family. Just having a bit of a glitch. This is Black Eyes TV once again, and we are with two co-hosts in the house. But I'm going to speak to my co-host before we go in and dig in very deep. So, Brother Rich.
Yeah, what's good, people? Greetings and big up to everybody joining us in the chat room. As Riggsy said, Black Eyes TV production in the house once again. I'm happy to be here with Riggsy and our elder, Brother STRAYHORN, and our sister, who's not a stranger to the platform. She's come on, but on another show before. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to today. The brother has great energy. We had a lot of fun last time, a lot of laughs. So again, I'm looking forward to this totally. Everybody in the chat room, you know what to do. Hit that like button, please, as you come in. Oh, I see the Queen Diambi has just joined us in the chat. Blessings, greetings to her. But yeah, people, as you come in, drop any comments you got, drop any questions you have, but please, most importantly, don't forget to hit that like button. So, Riggsy, yeah, take your play, bro. Introduce our brother, introduce our sister, and let's do this.
Okay, peace to the Queen Diambi, as she's watching. Peace to all the people in the chat. So we're going to introduce, as we've always introduced, our elder, and we have to ask honors in our elder that has come onto our platform to be able to introduce himself as we know him as. But I'm going to allow him to introduce himself. And how are you doing today, my brother?
I'm doing fine, thank you. I am astronumerologist Lloyd STRAYHORN. I've been doing this for quite some time. I combined astrology and numerology together, just as my co-host does this on here today. And it's very fascinating, it's very revealing, it's very insightful, and it acts as an excellent guide to be in the right place at the right time.
Okay, and we're going to introduce our beautiful sister, as she is within the International Sister Circle, and she has done a lot, one show already, but she's going to be going in. So I'll let her introduce herself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kaya French. I am an astro-numerical analyst. Same here with me. I blend astrology and numerology together to give you a reading based on your name, your birthday, your business, whatever it is, even on what's going on in the world today. We are here to give you the best information possible using numbers.
Okay. So, as we said, two powerful minds coming together. 1 + 1 makes 2. And we need to have that, as we always say, that family household coming together as a family and able to discuss and talk about all the things that have been happening and the situations and how people are maneuvering and what we expect for the future. So, as our elder, Lloyd, we want to start with, how are you? And
First
what
of all,
have you been up to?
I'm fine. I've been working on a number of projects. I will say that it's interesting. I started an online numerology course strictly for beginners, although semi-professionals and professionals can join in. And second to the United States, most of the students that have enrolled come from the UK. And my course is called Learn from Lloyd, How to Read a Person Like a Book. So later on, they can go to my website, lloyd-strayhorn.com, sign on. They can also go to my website and get the free monthly newsletter that Kaya and I do each month that lets people know about their sign, what's up, that's going on for them. Like for you, a Scorpio. And I think the other brother, if I'm not mistaken, he's a Virgo, a Sagittarius, September 7th, I do believe it, unless he changed his birthday on me. So
no, you got it right. You got a good memory. That's it.
Thank you. So the point is that it is very, very interesting. Then I'm working on a number of other projects that I'll let you know. But my pride and joy right now is to make available to people who want to learn how to do this. This is incredibly simple. Try to imagine going throughout your day without using numbers. So numbers we use in currency, numbers we think in terms of what we pay for food, gas, going to a pub, paying rent on your flat, okay? However, there's an esoteric side to numbers, which is what Kaya, French, and I do as a specialty.
Okay. Now let's go to our beautiful Kaya, and how have you been today, and what have you been up to?
I've been very well. Thanks and gratitude. Even though we're in the middle of a pandemic, we can always use this time to work on ourselves and get things done, things that we haven't done in a minute. You know, it's a time to review, revise, and even look into your own relationship, your own self, look in your own mirror. So I have been doing well, busy, helping my clients, helping others. In the meantime, helping myself as well, too.
Okay. So we start with the two. I presume both of you both are in New York, innit?
Not really. I'm in New York.
I'm in Michigan.
Michigan. Oh gosh, so you're two ends of the pond.
Yeah.
So in front of this pandemic that has been going on, what's been happening over there? Because we want to know from the UK perspective of what's been happening and all the things that we've been going through at this precise moment, from the pandemic to the George Floyd to the marching. You know, there is something going on in the air, and we would like to kind of know what's going on within them numbers of what's happening.
Well, to be honest, if you look at 2020 and add those four numbers across, it adds up to a 4. Now, 4 in numerology is one of the health numbers. 4 is also the underdog number. So at the beginning of the year, actually it was late last year into this year, I said that coming into 2020, this will be the year where winners become losers and losers become winners, okay? I think that since 4 also rules odd and unusual, who would have ever thought that anything that you cannot see, taste, touch, or smell would shut down New York City? New York is number one no matter where you go. But this virus thing has caused people to kind of reevaluate their lives. What is very interesting, my co-host is on with me. She has a weekly column, and in the beginning of the year, she says, "Rebirth of a New Nation," not knowing that literally that theme has set the tone for what has happened. This is a new normal. To go out and walk around with mask on, gloves on, that you got to watch your health, who you talk to, how close you get to them, distancing. Had somebody told us in January when we started this year, and she wrote her column, that, yeah, right, it has changed. It's changed, that's all. However, the year does favor Aquarians. It does favor Leos and Geminis, or anybody born on the 1st to 4th of any month, the 10th to 13th of any month, the 19th to 22nd, the 28th, or the 31st of any month. But we all go through personal year cycles, which is determined by taking the month and day you're born and adding it to the personal year. So if we take my September 7th brother, we take September the 7th, added to the year 2020, he's going through a master number 11 personal year. The fact that the number 2 is his second most number, other than the 5, which is in his third position, means that he is in a state of transition. State of transition either with residence, with relationships, or with things affecting the workplace. Whatever the case is, probably change of diet, more conscious, or partnering with other people, whatever the case is. So everybody goes through a personal year cycle over and above what is called the universal cycle.
Okay.
No doubt. And I can attest to that. Yeah,
Okay.
Thank you for saying that, because trust me, I have gone through several transitions and still in one when it came to the passing of my baby mother, more specifically. So, yeah, what you're saying is very relevant to me. Let me just say that.
Oh, and
Go
there's
to Terry.
we can't leave him out because he's November 12th, is it, Terry?
Who's that? Who's
You.
12? No, I'm a free. It's the
Okay.
same.
Well, excuse me, November 3rd. But see, when I said the 12th, 1 + 2 is 3. See, in numerology, as long as you got 2 or more digits, you got to keep reducing it. So if somebody says 12, my mind as a numerologist says 1 + 2 = 3. So therefore, this year, since you are November the 3rd, you're in a 9 personal year, which means this is a good year for you to bring things to a close, terminate anything that's been a drag or a waste of your time, as well as focus on manifesting some of the things you want to do.
Which is definitely happening. Kai, I wanted you to give it on the feminine perspective, because you know when you talk, because I see that you talk a lot on the relationships. I want to see where you see families are moving in the direction between this year and next year.
Okay, so we are in the year of 2020, which Lloyd just demonstrated that we're in a 4 universal year. Not only that, um, 4 rules Aquarius, Leos, and Aquarius as well too. Not only that is this, the fourth house on the zodiac wheel, or the fourth sign on the zodiac wheel, is Cancer, right? So Cancer loves to be at home, loves to be nurtured, loves to be. This is where you have to build your foundation up. This is where all the structure and the upbringing, the uprooting comes from. So we are in the 4 universal year for the zodiac sign, which is Cancer. It loves to be at home. And what are they telling us to do right now? Is to stay home, quarantine at home. You know, there's been some light restricting going on, but people are not, always abiding by the rules. People are going to be rebellious and do their own little thing and go their own little way. Not only that, 4 is a mother figure number. Depending on where it's aspect in your natal chart, it can be the father as well too. So we have Saturn and Capricorn. It just went back into, it was in Aquarius from March 21st up until like July 1st, July 5th. So whatever occurred around that time in your relationship was almost like a review of what's to come for the next 2 years and a half. So now Saturn is going back as a retrograde effect, that we have to once again look at our relationship within our home, in our foundation, especially dealing with the women, because 4 rules the women. So it's either you're listening, you're being advised, counsel, getting therapy, marriage counseling. This is where we really women have to really stand up. We're not taking no mess. We're not taking it anymore. We have had enough with it. So this is time to really put some emphasis on your relationship. You really talk things out instead of just going about your way and want to do it this way and that way without hearing both sides. There's always 2 sides of the story here. And if we don't break these curses that your mother had issues with her father and she had with her father, or you had, not you, but men had issues with their mothers or their father, this is where this is going to continue to go. So we at a point now, we have to fix these issues, recognize what the issue is, and move forward. How can we ever move forward if we don't recognize what our past history was? So we have to identify with that. And once you identify with those issues, then you understand the relationship that's at hand. So Saturn's here in Capricorn to give you one more last time. If you ever watched the movie Moana, she's a little girl that loves to be in the water, but yet this man, a demigod, stole the heart from Tafiti, which is the land of the gods. So they had to go restore the heart. So what we have to understand is this is our last time to really get things on the ball until the next 29 years when Saturn come back around to Capricorn. We'll have some more times, but this is really the powerful one right now, because all these retrogrades are in aspects right now, is that we have to go back and understand, where are we breaking the rules at? Are we hurt at? What happened in the past to our mothers and our fathers? Where is this going right now? Is it going anywhere? Are we healing, or are we still at odds with one another, bickering back and forth with another? We have to stop this and come together and build and raise foundation. The man needs to be in the home and the woman needs to be in the home. We have to have 2 male and female energy in the home. We don't have that. We have a lot of single mothers out here in the world raising kids. Not only that, we have single dads raising kids. There has to be a woman involved. There has to be a man involved, because the man look up to the woman as a future wife or a motherly figure, and then the woman look up to the father as a husband or as a brotherly figure or a man figure in her life, and she doesn't have that. This is where we are having these issues from, because we didn't have this in our home. We didn't have this in our upbringing. But even if we don't have these things, we have motherly and man figures in our life. They might not be your mother or father, but it can be an auntie, it can be a sister, it can be a cousin, whoever it is. These are your other people that are your guide, because everybody's life, everybody's chart is different. So everybody upbringing is different. But where we need to heal at is where we need to go back and find our history at. And that's where I think that we should be looking at, is the history of the backstory of our mothers and our father, and stop blaming one another, stop accusing one another.
So Lloyd, in looking at things that are happening, what is your understanding of travel? Because everyone's finding it difficult to able to maneuver.
Well, you know what's interesting, Terry, 4 symbolically always represents a box. Therefore, a person feels boxed in physically, mentally, emotionally, psychologically, and in this case, people are boxed in terms of travel. Travel is now very limited, and it's interesting. 4 always puts things in the reverse. In the earlier part of this year, around February, this president here says nobody from Europe or UK or any other parts can come into the United States. Now, guess what? Europe is now saying, you know what? Nobody from the United States can come into their region of the world right now. Everybody's on restriction, and reasonably so, because nobody wants this virus to spread around. And the way I try to explain it like this: when people are viewing us on StreamYard, when people are watching their favorite TV show, listening to their favorite radio program, what they don't realize, and I don't think they think of it in this way, that signals are being sent out, like on the internet. And these signals, although you can't see it, is allow us to tune into this segment of the show to watch your favorite show or radio show. Well, think of the virus in that way. It's invisible. You can't see it, taste it, touch it, or feel it, but it exists. And my thing is, why should you wait until the impact when one is on a ventilator and use some common sense and say, and so right now, here in this country, there's this disagreement about I wear a mask and you don't wear a mask. And there's people like getting really back and forth. And I mean, who would have ever thought that a piece of cloth around your face would create such a disagreement? But this is not the way to do it. So everybody's on the limit. Everybody needs to stay within their parameters, stay within their lane. So traveling probably won't really start until late September into October, as we begin to feel the energies of the following year of 2021 that allows more freedom, more flexibility, more travel, as well as opportunities, business-wise.
Okay. So in the uprising of people, how have you seen it so far in what's been going on? Because, you know, we've been talking about certain things of people having conflict and not understanding on able to communication, to able to communicate. Is there something with communication that people are miscommunicating with?
Well, I would say yes, because back in February, the month before they actually shut the United States down, Mercury was going retrograde from the 16th of February through March, when all of this was announced. Now, Mercury is the planet of communications. It means, I thought you said this. No, I thought you said that. It affects business, science, commerce, communications of all kinds. Letters get lost. If you didn't receive your mail or it's gotten way late or something, all of that was in effect. And it carried over, and especially hit June, because June was the last time, around the 17th of June, just less than a month ago, really, that Mercury went retrograde again. So there's one more time that's going to take place on the 13th of October, because all the retrogrades are in air signs this year. Now, for the newbies who don't understand or hearing this term for the first time, Mercury rules the way we speak, our intentions of how we express ourselves, It rules the written word, the spoken word. It rules our time frame. It rules that this is the time not to assume. This is when computers act crazy, phones act up. All of a sudden, your car goes on the blink. All of that. So when you got those, and then just last month, as Kai was mentioning, no less than 5 planets were retrograde at the same time. That's crazy. So no matter whether it's here, but don't forget, this Mercury retrograde don't expect this part of the world. It affects the entire universe. They're in England. So with Pluto and Uranus and Venus and Mars, I think, being the planets that were retrograde, hey, a lot of craziness with relationships, a lot of craziness with aggressiveness. You know, now people want to fight over the silliest things. And for what? So really, when the dust settles and a person is arrested maybe, or a person is harmed, you ask the question, or they would ask the question, is it worth it? And the answer would come back, no, it's not worth it. So a little common sense will take people a long way. Be patient, but people are kind of antsy, especially here in this country. Well, I do what I want to do when I want to do it. And actually, it's not going to work that way. But using a degree of common sense, intelligence, and patience will take those a long way.
Mm. So, go on, Richie.
No, I was going to say, in relation, when you're seeing all of these militias springing up, these black militias springing up now in response to what's going on the streets, and that kind of response becoming more commonplace, how do you see that panning out in the time frame that we're talking about? Do you see that as part of the grade?
Well, you know what's interesting? For again rules the underdog. For no telling how long, goodness knows how long, things, the way people of color has been treated in this country and in the UK and other parts of the country too, the world. Okay, with the kind of like disrespect, the lack of feeling for humanity. Here in the United States now they got a Karen and whatnot. Karen is simply a woman, a white woman who would just call the police on a black man for anything, such as an incident in Central Park here in New York, where there was a section of Central Park where it's for bird watching, which means if you're walking your dog must be on a leash. So when this guy then politely mentioned to the lady, please leash your dog, she went into panic mode and actually accused him, called the police, saying the man was threatening her. Fortunately, now everybody should film what they're doing. So now people are not just saying, oh, it's his word against their word. People can see what's happening. And this is what triggered this whole thing that spread a universal protest around the world with George Floyd in Minnesota, where you have a man kneeling on his neck for over 9 minutes. They said he pleaded 28 times, I can't breathe, calling his mother. Now, anytime a man is calling out his mother, okay, you know how we men are. We call out our mother. That's really, and so there's this callousness. And I think because it was visualized, in fact, it was a 17-year-old young lady that filmed this so people could see. And this triggered, and this has been going on for decades. You know, all this was just simply captured on video. But a lot of these things have been happening, unfortunately, for no reason other than because of who we are. And so I'm saying there's either some neurosis or psychosis that the other part of this society needs to deal with. Because black people are not going anywhere. We are the original man. We have brought to this world its civilization. We've built the pyramids. We've introduced culture, language, science, religion, philosophy, everything. You can think of it. Now, people might get upset with me. Don't. It's in the history books, and I didn't write the history books. I'm just one small little entity in the whole course of the human history of it. So what I'm saying is, don't take my word for it. Look at it. But there's been an ugliness of how black people have been treated in this country. And when I say it, I'm not being mean-spirited as so much as being very honest. So when they say Black Lives Matter, it's not just here in the United States. It's there in London. It's there in France. It's there no matter where you go. The treatment has always been the same, and people of color have had enough. So that's all I can say. So people are going to have to get used to it. We're not going anywhere. Nowhere. And we have a divine right to be here since we are, in fact, historically the original man.
No doubt. I wanted to ask the sister as well. I mean, before the racial tension flared up again, as it did, as always, there's been a battle of the sexes going on for a hot minute. How do you feel about the corruption certain times of the divine feminine energy that's gone on right now in modern day society?
Man, the divine energy is strong for one because we are in the year of the 2020. Before I get into that, I want to go back a little bit and piggyback off on Lloyd. When these things started to happen, that they've been occurring, but now they're reoccurring now, is that Mars was in Pisces and it was at the last couple of degrees, like 25 and 27 degrees, when all this stuff started happening. When you have Mars and Pisces, that's the people, that's the government system, that's the people coming together, people trying to protect ourselves, people going out buying guns, knives. As you notice that the gun, prices, I mean, not prices, but the people have been buying it. So the gun stock is going up more, or just guns, period. People are buying it to protect themselves now. So all of these things started to really trickle down effect during the Mercury retrograde in February. And then when Mars is in Pisces, now we have Mars in Aries. It's like war, so it's like war on the people, war on the government, war everywhere. This is where we have to protect ourselves, and locally, internationally, everywhere you are, we have to start coming together and build our own platforms and build our own businesses and just come together to unite, to run our own story like it was back years ago. So now speaking of the woman, is that we're in the year 22, not in only the year 22, but we are in the 20s period where the women are taking a stand. We want higher pay. We want better jobs. We want better men as well too. But without better men, it has to be a mother that's a good mother around, or else it's gonna be same down trickle down effect. The first mothers are the first teachers to the man is the mothers. We're the ones that birth. We the ones are the people, the ones that we nurse as well too. When you first come into the world, we are your first teachers and your first guidance as a woman. So how can we raise better men if we don't have better women around? And only that, have better men around to protect and love and profess our women and protect our children as well too. So the women are taking a stance, and they're not backing down at no cost right now.
No, I feel you on that one. Definitely. You know what? I wanted to ask a quick question. For people that know and for people that don't know, when you're doing your calculations, you're obviously talking about cycles of time, Aquarius, Pisces, whatever. But for people that don't understand, are you working off of a separate calendar system to the one that we follow on a normal day-to-day basis? We're going to celebrate the new year, the Kemetic New Year, I believe on the 25th, which again deals with a different time frame. So I just wanted to ask you to kind of explain a bit about that side of what you do in the astronomy side, if possible.
Well, it's interesting. We have here the calendar we use in the West, but there's the Mayan calendars. There actually, when you go around the world, there are different calendars that seem to reflect the culture of the people that live there in that region. Mm-hmm. Here in the West, and there where you guys are, we use a calendar that goes from January to December. And we notice that the days always go from Sunday to Saturday. So here's what I'm saying. It's not July here, and it's January there in Europe and in the UK. You see what I'm saying? So so it all depends on what region of the world. So here in the West, we have a calendar. I think they call it the Julian calendar, or whatever these technical names are. It reflects our energy. So when you talk to a woman born in the Middle East, they'll have a different birthday that when they come here, it's different altogether. So they'll be born in one month and day there of their land, but come here. So it all depends on the calendars. But in this case, since we are focused here in the Western part of the world, we use the Julian calendar or whatever the term is. I'm not an expert on calendars, but the point is, it is not Sunday there in the UK and Friday here in the United States, nor the same in France or Switzerland or whatever the case is. But it's more when you go toward the Middle East and things like that, Saudi Arabia, things of that nature that you begin to see it. So it all depends on the culture. Also, religious bodies too have their own calendars. But to keep it simple, which is what our goal is, we take the traditional calendar that we come under, which is the one that goes from January to December, that goes from Sunday to Saturday, and whose dates run from the 1st of the month up until the 30th or the 31st, or in some exception, the 28th, like in the month of February, which is the shortest month in the year. You ask great questions.
No, I feel, sister, did you have anything that you wanted to add to that?
I just want to say, based upon numbers, even if you are in a different state of the world, your date of birth or the date of the corporation or the date of the birth of the country, it doesn't really matter because the numbers are not going to change. They're going to stay the same no matter what. And that's why Lloyd and I can still run the numbers on the countries as well as people.
To give you an example, guys, my online course is now in 45 different countries in 15 different languages. And there's not a problem because 1 + 1 is going to be 2 no matter where you go. And no matter what language the person speaks, no matter what their religious beliefs are, we all have in common that we're all born on some month, some day, some year, at some point in this world. Now, if anybody got here another way, can they please text me? Because I'd like to know, maybe you're from outer space or something. But everybody, that's it.
Okay. I want to ask a question, right? In the difference, because some people get slightly confused. Some people go for astrology, and they don't understand the difference between astrology and the numerology. Could you give us a quick breakdown?
Well, Kai, you want to explain the astrology and I'll explain the numerology?
Yeah, so the astrology is really just describing the characteristic of the zodiac signs and their place in their certain house and certain aspects. Astrology is so much more complex than numbers. Numbers are really simple, but astrology, man, is a whole nother language, a whole nother world itself. So, but it tells you about the qualities and characteristics of a person and what houses are you normally affected in with the numbers, Lloyd.
Well, with numerology, it deals more with the esoteric side of numbers. Now, here's what I'm saying. If you go to a doctor, you get examined, they will measure your blood pressure with your numbers. You go to your accountant or whatever the case is, they will know whether you got to pay taxes, get money back, or whatever. And especially for the sports buffs around the world. Imagine trying to watch a sports game without numbers being involved. How would you know the score? How would you know which player to be identified from the field? Because each player has a number on their shirt. So imagine if numbers just disappeared. But with numerology, it deals with the more occult, metaphysical, unseen side of numbers that affect people just as much as they deal in real life. So when you blend it, we have, that is Kaya and I, and a few other people like King Simon, my good buddy, my brother, we are actually astronumerologists, which means we blend the best of both of these sciences. And what's interesting is this. A lot of people will say, well, doesn't this go against the laws of God? Some people have put the sign of the cross like then and then and then, are you going to get it? Well, religion is a belief system.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why man is always for thinking that my God is better than your God. But I defy anybody to name me, Terry, a war fought in the sign of Scorpio. I defy anybody to find me a war since man has been on this planet fought in the name of a number, the number 3, your number, for example. Mm-hmm. So my attitude is until you find me a war fought in the name of a zodiac sign or a particular number, whether it's a 3 or a 7 or whatever, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing because at least it don't kill nobody. But here's the difference. Religion is a belief. Astrology and numerology are sciences. That's the difference. And when you're dealing with the scientific method, you never go wrong.
And not only that, when you come to an astrologer, what is the first thing they ask you? What time were you born? What the month and day were you born? So it's like, which one comes first?
Numerology.
Numbers.
As they always say, even when you go into the Judaism, you would realize that they go into numbers anyway, because everything that is spelled out comes from numbers.
Well, you know, Terry, when I tell people, especially the non-believers in what we do, that the Bible is a numerology book, they really get upset. But be open in the sense that if you go to the Old Testament of the Bible, the fourth book of Moses happens to be called the book of Numbers. Now, I didn't write the Bible, so y'all can't get upset with me. Then God instructed Moses on the second day of the second month to name the armies by their name and their poll. Okay? If you go to the last chapter of the Bible, Revelation, they will say, well, this is the mark of man. It is the number of the beast, and the number is 666, to paraphrase it. In fact, if you go further into the chapter of Revelation, they will tell you that in cryptic fashion that the symbolic meaning of Christ is 888. So nines or 666 adds up to 9, which is a war number because it's governed by Mars. But when you add those 3 8s together, that adds to 24, which is a 6, which represents love and peace and harmony. So, I mean, you know, that's all I can tell you. And in fact, nobody can pick up the good book without I'll say Psalms, first 22 chapter so-and-so. Notice everything in numbers. You cannot get through that Bible or any religious text, I don't care whether it's the Quran, the Talmud, whatever, without being referred to by some number and whatnot. That's how you find your particular passage to get your message across in lectures, in speeches, in debates, or whatever the case. Everything is guided by numbers.
And 666, just, you know, you said the beast of the numbers, but 6 electrons, 6 protons, and neutrons still go back to the science, no matter what.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, I was just having a bit of a glitch. Yeah. So as we were talking about war, and one thing I know about war, when people go to war, after a war, people come home and population increases. So how do you see, in forms of that 3 8, which means love, comes about within this time and next year?
Well, I think it would be even more manifest in the fall of 2021 going into 2022, which is the year of the 6. But 6 is about service. 6 is ruled by Venus, the planet of love and home and family and nurturing and births and marriages and separations and divorce and education, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it also denotes duty and responsibility. And so maybe perhaps we all need to get with the program to do things. And in fact, the United States opposition number is the number 6 in the United States happens to be in a 6 personal year. What I simply did for the newbies who don't understand, I took July the 4th, added it to 2020, and it came out to 15, and 1 plus 5 is 6. So 6 is also a health number beside the number 4. So they have found that this infection rate of this COVID-19 is higher than in any part of the world right now. And so it doesn't come to me as a surprise as so much as people who may not understand, esoterically speaking, the metaphysical sciences that Kai and I understand.
I want to add to that too, because the USA is in the 6th personal year. So it tells me that 2 years ago, when they came into their 4-4 year, that they were already having health issues, health concerns, probably just couldn't put their finger on and find out what the cause was, what it was. So finally, last year in September, that they finally maybe had got a clue of what was going on. But people was already dying in their beds for, unexpectedly just find people dead. So now that it really came about in the 6th universal year, where it's more stressful to the 4 energy number, is why 4 is related to the heart, the lower back, the upper back, and 6 is always the heart, ears, nose, and throat. So we having these symptoms like flu-like symptoms, which would be normal kind of symptoms, but now it got you and I look at each other like, if you sneeze, if you cough, stay away from me. And it's kind of crazy, but we have to think this way and distance ourselves from our loved ones, our family, and it's just all kind of crazy right now how we have to operate and maneuver around in this energy of this coronavirus season. And I really don't think this virus is going anywhere because it started in Mercury retrograde, that they finally found this out and it started spreading sporadically. And not only that, it started when we had the North Node and South Node and Cancer and Capricorn, which is only the initiation sign. These are cardinal signs energy, which are the initiator of something. So now we hit into the Sagittarius and Gemini, which are both mutable signs. And what is the virus doing right now? It's mutated right now. So there's various strands out here. For one, we come from all different parts of the world, and we all carry different kind of blood type, whatever. So how it affects us is totally different from how it would affect you and I or somebody else. So we have to be mindful around this virus, that we have to take this very seriously, and it's very vital important. So with this 6 energy number that we're in right now in the USA, and not only that, we're, like Lloyd said, it's the number of service, number of compensation. Majority of the globally around the world are being compensated because they're out of work. Because of these things, this virus is going on. The government is stepping in some kind of way, form of way, and helping out with the citizens of the USA and other countries and their citizens that they're helping out.
Oh yeah, because they are mentioning that there's going to be a second wave, coincidentally in October.
Yeah, and guess what? Mars be retrograding in Aries, which is a war fire energy, which is a disease spread. I'm not trying to scare nobody, but we have to be mindful about this energy that we're in right now.
And Mercury will be retrograde at the same time, which means miscommunication. So people will be short-tempered. I thought you said this. No, I thought you said that. So we're not out of the woods, not at all yet. So, you can take off your mask and take off your gloves, but let us pray you don't wind up on a ventilator. Okay. And why should you? Why don't you have enough patience and common sense to live another day, another week, another month, another year, and a year after that, and a year after that, as against being impatient and having to be, shorten your life for what?
And not only that, Mercury will be retrograded in Scorpio around this time. So last year around Thanksgiving, Mercury was in Scorpio. So kind of figure out what took place around those times. You can just go about what would happen take place around this time, and this time with the extra energy of Mars and Aries. Mercury in Scorpio, Mars and Aries are ruled by the same planet, which is Pluto.
Okay. But in 2021, when you calculate the numbers, it adds up to 5.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
In certain African traditions, like the Orishas, they say that will be like the year of Oshun, which is number 5. But in forms of numerology, what would number 5 stand for?
Change. You know what? See, in numerology, the numbers go from 1 to 9. A person will say, okay, Stray, what about 10? Well, 1 plus 0 is 1. What about 11? 1 plus 1 is back to 2. So if you can keep that in your mind and see on the left, the 1, which is the alpha, the 9, which is the omega, the beginning and the end, next year, we will be at the midway point. That's what 5 represents. That's why they call it the pivotal cycle. It turns things around. You're halfway there. You're halfway up the road with another halfway to go before you complete that 9-year cycle. And with it brings opportunities, a change, freedom, flexibility. It is a literary number. It's a number of communications. And so people will be more, say, free to have more flexibility. But right now, we're under a 4, which always is symbolized as a box. And people have been boxed in. I mean, who would have thought in January, I'd have lost all my money thinking that something invisible would have shut down New York City, that you can't see it, you can't smell it, taste it, or touch it, but shut this city down. And as far as I know, and anybody will tell you, nothing shuts New York City down. But that has been the case this particular year. But things begin to open up because 5 represents air, so ruled by the element of air. 4 also represents air too. And so you say, well, what's the connection? Well, 4 represents the air. 4 is a health number. And what is the apparatus that's been attacked? The lungs. That's the air apparatus of the body. Okay? That's all.
Okay. So, Brother Rich.
Yeah, I was just thinking, in relation to what you're saying just there, whatever the global plan is by the ones that don't like us, it seems like they understand numerology. And as they're putting these plans in places, just based on what you just said, where they already have created something that's operating and attacking the lung system, moving into an air cycle, they understand the inherent connection between the unseen and the seen, or the numerology, sequences to what or how to play out in the physical. Is that what you believe you're seeing? Do you think they have inherent knowledge of these things?
Well,
You
I
think this
would
is just
say to a degree, yes.
specialized
For
thing?
example, they will say that Pythagoras is the father of numerology. Okay? So you have the Pythagorean system here in the West, and then you have a lesser known but more accurate science, as far as I'm concerned, the Chaldean system. So with that, I would say, yes, they may know. For example, they're talking about, for example, since 4 is the air number, 5 is the air number, they're also talking about that this thing that we've now dealing with will also spread itself possibly into the fall of 2020, going into 2021 as well. So it wouldn't surprise us. So that means that the following year, 2022, would affect the heart palpitations, irregular blood circulations, um, things like that that affect certain parts of the body, because each number affects an area. Except in the case of the 5, it affects the hands, the arms, and the shoulders as well. And since this virus, as Kyra was mentioning, is mutating, especially with the North Node, South Node going to Sagittarius, Sagittarius and Gemini, this can explain some of the things. So this thing is not over yet. But what? People are impatient, Nowadays, it's like instant gratification, just add water. But when you're dealing with world time, when you're dealing with the motions of the planet, it don't happen like that. Only in television, only in the movies, only on radio. But in the real world, that's like saying, I was born yesterday, now today I'm a grown adult. We know there's a process that led to me being at this point. There's a process. When you guys came out, you guys was all wet, slippery, all cute and whatnot. Now you're grown, big and ugly. You know what I'm saying? That kind of thing. Only kidding, guys. But the point is, there's a process. You see what I'm saying? And it takes time. But people don't want to have no time. People don't want to exercise those immutable laws that you can't change, which is why youth and wisdom don't go together. When I was 11, I knew everything, or so I thought. I knew everything just to get myself in serious, serious trouble. And the United States is a baby nation. Why? It's 240 years. Now, in world history, they said that 70 years is equal a day in world history. So if you look at the United States, 244, that's 7/14/21. Technically, the United States is only 3 days old in a couple of months in world history, world time. So it all depends on our reference of time. And for people who don't have an understanding, for pet owners, they will tell you for 1 man year equals 7 dog years, 7 cat years. That they understand. But on a global situation, it takes even more. So when they talk about and refer to the people who are wise in their wisdom, that the United States is a baby nation, London is a baby nation, it is compared to Africa and Asia and other parts of the world.
You got anything to add, sister? Sorry, I thought you was
gone.
I just want to say, so back to the 5 energy that we're going to be experiencing in 2021, we can expect the Mercury retrograde to be in air signs as well too, and that we will see a change in the month of September, but it won't be a change that we think is going to be, but it will lighten up. But then at 2022 is going to get right back, kind of almost like this year we in right now. So it's like we kind of Mother Earth has to take its process. Just like when you're sick, it has to run this course, and this is what she's doing right now. She's making all these disasters, hurricanes, volcanoes erupting, all weird things going on in the skies and the universe. You know, we have to wipe this slate clean before we can move forward. And this is what what the universe is doing right now with all these retrograde effects. So it's going to be a minute before things get better. I would say maybe another 6 years from now that things will start to get better, just based upon the numbers, because each north node and south node has to go an 18-month cycle. So we in another 18-month cycle for this Sagittarius and Gemini energy, which is a fire and air energy number. When you have fire and air, things spread. Either you can burn it on a nice blend, or it comes to a nice burn, or you can go wildfires and spread all over the place. And this is what this virus can do. It can spread at any given moment. And when Mars go retrograde in Aries in September, the second week, that we can see this virus spreading rapidly.
Yeah, I feel you on that one. Definitely. Go to tell.
No, I was just listening that we're going through this full hurricane back and forth.
Yeah.
But in as a people, do you see in forms of division between people in the next few years, or do you feel that we're going to be much more closer because of what the situation is giving us?
Well, I would say in the momentary, at least in this part of the world, the United States as we know it, there is a lot of division. Yet at the same time, because of the unfortunate murder of George Floyd, excuse me, that seemed to awaken a consciousness of a commonality. Nobody wants their knee on anybody's neck. I wouldn't want your knee on my neck, and vice versa. So there seems to be a wake-up call, and hopefully it'll be a unifying force. But there are some energies in this country, or maybe elsewhere for all I know, that would prefer that it's better with each people are at each other's throats. That, for example, here in a store, there was a gentleman, you wear a mask when you go into the stores now. But there was a gentleman that didn't wear a mask, and he was approached by a mask wearer, and the guy pulled a gun out on him. You know, I mean, crazy stuff. Things that makes no rhyme or reason. And so it's those kinds of things that make things kind of like divisive, or, you know, one against the other about that. And so now there's a beef about, if you wear a mask, you must be for this person. If you don't wear a mask, it may be for that person. How about if we all be for the purpose of the betterment of our health and the well-being of our family and our children? Maybe that's the best way to go. But there will be a unifying force, because ultimately people will realize that they have no choice but to unify.
I think this energy is very much shifting and more of a slow, rapid kind of pace right now, with people identifying, even the celebrities. Some celebrities are speaking up now about coming together, building your own businesses, get your own newspaper out so you can advertise all the Black business in the world. I think at some point in time we are going to come together. I think it's kind of almost going to be as if, like, whose side are you on? Because the USA, particularly right now, is going through their Saturn return cycle. So it's kind of like their government, their rules, the regulations, everything is up for grabs right now. So this is to be a good time to start placing your own, not your own rules, or coming together within the community, combining your own rules, or setting up your own rules and laws and these kind of things before they even go back inside to build things. It'd be a good time to go step into the government and find out what is the need of your community, so you can put that need on one, in the Constitution, or either in whatever how they organize the structure and organization of this USA. This is a prime time to be doing those things, setting new rules and regulations, and looking out for one another. So I think there's definitely going to be a dramatic change, and I think we definitely see some changes in September going into next year as well too.
Okay, I've got something just came to me, and I said I had an idea. Because I know Lloyd is in the number game, and I understand you're in the astrology. I want us to go through the numbers and the months consecutively in forms of giving both sides of the story, because we want to see if they're close to each other in that perspective.
Very close.
So
well, they are interrelated. So if you want to start with January, astrologically it rules Capricorn, but numerically it rules the number 8. The next one, if you go to February, astrologically it rules Aquarius, but numerically it rules the number 4. If you go to, let me see. So I'm dealing with the months now. I'm not dealing with from Aries to Pisces, but I'm dealing with January, February, March, for example, deals with Pisces, but numerically it's a 3. April is Aries, but numerically it's a 5. May is Taurus, numerically it's a 6. June is Gemini, but numerically it's a 5. July, which we're in now, astrologically is Cancer, but numerically it's a 2-7. Next month, August is Leo, which numerically is a 1-4. Then there's September, is astrologically speaking Virgo, whose numerical energy is the number 5. Then Libra, the October is Libra, whose numerical number is the number 6. Then November is Scorpio, which numerically is the number 9. And then you have the month of December, which is known as Sagittarius, which is numerically the number 3. So they're all interrelated, which is why Kaya and I are referred to as astronumerologists, because we blend the best of both worlds. So, for example, the way I explain it, if you, Terry, or somebody come to me, they already know their sign, but 9 times out of 10, they don't know they are a sign and a number as well. And by having the best of both worlds, so for example, I would describe you as a water sign with a fire number, and the co-host, Richie, I would describe him as an earth sign with a water number. So that means he's practical and intuitive. That means you are emotional and passionate. And so that's how I would describe you, by blending these elements of the signs, because each sign is ruled by element, each number is ruled by element, and just that alone can describe it. That's why I think my online course that people can take, and I'll, before we end, I'll tell how people can sign up for the course, which is why it is spread to 45 different countries and 15 different languages. Because no matter where you walk this planet, if you are a human being, as Kaya said, you're born on some month, some day, some year, sometime, somewhere on planet Earth. Other than that, if not, I'd really like to know where you came from. Please drop me a line and see if I can figure out what's going on in your life. Because that's research, and we're researchers too, by the way.
So let me just have a quick question on that. So if you have the actual time you was born, would that make it as accurate as possible?
Kaya?
I find that when it comes to numerology side, when we take your date and your month of birth you're born, and we put you in your personal year based upon the universal year that we in, and we give you all these characteristics of what's going on in your life. Yes, that's one aspect. Then when I look at your chart, it's almost speaking the same things. Maybe in some certain houses, because there are 12 houses, like the clock goes from 1 to 12. There are certain houses where your sun is placed, where your Jupiter is placed, where your Venus, your Mercury, your Mars is placed at. So certain houses, you may have 5 planets in one house. That's where you more particularly are gifted at, or where you have the most areas that you work the best at. Then there can be some houses where there can be empty. So the planetary aspect, it describes the characteristics and the characteristics of the numbers and of those zodiac signs as well too. So either you get a reading based upon your numbers, which will be just as accurate as it will be in your natal chart. It's just a little bit more emphasis on what certain areas of those charts that you're looking for would be more pronounced at. But to me, I think it's pretty much the same. As I look at both charts and both the numbers, that person is still going through those kind of scenario situations that characteristics of that energy vibration of the numbers. So they both go hand in hand.
So in forms of the birthdays, in how do you, if someone was asking for a reading, let's say for instance, we have someone here who's put their birthday up. In how would you combine the two together into giving an abbreviation of this birthday?
Kyra?
Well, combining what I would look at the person's born on March 28th, so I would add the numbers up. 2 plus 8 is 10. Normally speaking, we have to add the numbers up to reduce it to the simplest form to one single digit, like you do in fractions. So this person would be a person that is a person that loves to take the lead, loves to be in charge, loves to be original, know exactly what they want, how to go and get it. But the only thing is, when it comes to decision making, they either are going against their own choices or what they really feel in their heart. And that Lloyd can describe the personal year they're going in.
And I would say, if I had to describe it in its basic element, this person, Teresa O'Brien, is a fire sign with a fire number. Now, each element in astrology represents a kind of a temperament or personality or disposition. So fire elements represent those people who are passionate, assertive, aggressive. And it tells me, since she's an Aries and then she's a number 1, I know this young lady does not take orders by no stretch of the imagination. She gets along better, and since Aries is a masculine sign, the number 1 is a masculine number, it tells me her attitude is that probably the only thing another woman can do for her is bring her a man. She would always have better luck through men. She would also do well in law, medicine, or science. She really needs to have her own business. But see, then we know, as metaphysicians deeper, that 28 is called the divorce number. Divorce not so much by marriage, but divorce from the material things she rightfully should have. And those problems come as a result of who she puts her trust in, which means she's very straight up, no chaser, lay all her cards on the table. But sometimes the people she deals with is not always honest upfront with her in return. Also, where she seeks her counsel. So, like, if she's wanting advice from astrologers, numerology, she's looking at the best right on your show right now, okay? But if she's going to get a reading and the person she's reading from, whether astrology or numerology, is repairing shoes all day, that's good for somebody else. But she needs to go to the best of the best, which is on the screen. And then, again, it deals with legal matters, how she signs documents. Her birthday suggests she doesn't look her age. She was probably raised or influenced by a third party in her life, like a auntie, grandmother, grandfather, somebody other than her mom and dad. And it also indicates she has very sensitive eyes to bright sunlight. So if she wears glasses, or had LASIK surgery, or contact lens, or things like that, it's because the left eye is a little bit more astigmatic than the right eye. And I mean, it's a host of things.
Okay. There's someone else.
They just had a birthday.
Yeah. So this person energy can be like day and night. You know, 1 minute she's happy and go lightly, the next minute she's in a bipolarism kind of mood. Just leave me alone. I don't know what I'm going to do right now. But she's very gifted, very talented with her work. She has the gift of gab. She's always helping out her friends, her families, her neighbors. She can be a good writer or editor or publisher as well too. Someone that loves to be the own director of their own faith. And she even thinks that she looks good. No, she knows she looks good. Probably always checking her stuff out in the mirror or in the mirror, or just making sure she's looking her best before she go out the house. And she's a fire energy. So I would say from time to time, she needs to be careful how she handle knives and weapons and how she grow up. She always bumping and bruising herself, maybe her arms or shoulder or knees on something. She find a bruise somehow on her body parts. And that she's also a very good cook as well, too.
This one's interesting.
This one is very interesting.
And I know this person personally. Shout out to Carla, big up. Let's hear what this one is.
Okay, she is a twin born on the 19th of October. Now, here's the difference with twins. Yes, they may be twins. The point is who came first. But more important, twins aren't the same name. For example, we have Carla, and her sister might be named Marie. Well, we know as astronumerologists that each letter has its own numerical value set to it. I know, for example, that Carla would be more patient than Marie. Marie would be less patient. Why? Because Carla has 2 2s where Marie only has 1 2. I know that Marie would be a little bit more impatient because of that 5, but Carla at the same time would be more assertive because she has 2 1s. The only person I know who's named their child or children the same, including their dog, was our former heavyweight champion George Foreman here in the United States. All his son's name is George. The dog is named George. So when he said George, he got everybody jumping up in that joint. Okay.
Okay.
But this woman, because okay.
Oh, let me go back.
No, I was going to say, but this particular person born on the 19th of October, she would be an air sign with a fire number, which are elements that blend very well, which means she's proactive. She takes the initiative, and she doesn't look her age, by the way. And it indicates that these are leadership numbers. So one of them, if not both of them, are either independent in their own careers or business endeavors. They don't take orders well. And so it's just interesting. And they're blessed not to look their age, too.
Yeah. And I would say that they would have almost like the same kind of things, but yet they may dress differently or act differently in some kind of way. But yet, certain times they may feel each other, even from a far distance, that someone could like be in harm's way or someone can be crying. You know, the energy is still there where they may be different, but yet almost feel the same at the same time. They can feel each other's emotions or in energy from a far distance away. But I'm sure that one person was born earlier than the other person, so sometimes that makes a whole difference in your natal chart as well too.
And when she's saying that, here's what happens. Every 4 minutes plus, we have what is called the rising or ascendant. And so let's say Carla came first. About 20 minutes later, Marie came next. Okay. Well, Carla's rising sign might be Virgo, but her sisters might be Scorpio or Capricorn. You see? So this is why we need the time of birth, especially with people who are experts like Kaya, who get that time you were born and know, because you can have a person born on the same month, same day, same year, but in different locations. One born here in the States, another one born there in the UK, one is born in the morning, another one is born in the afternoon. So there's so many variables. So when you come to a professional astrologer like Kaya, or anyone else for that matter, you must have at least to help you help, at least for them to help them help you, is definitely know the time you were born. And that makes all the difference in the world. And that's how they can do your chart. And did you know it was a woman of color, her name is Gladys here in Virginia, that developed the GPS. And that's all, when you give the astrologer the time you were born, that's letting them know, well, where was the planets at that time? Where were they in the heavens when the planet, that's GPSing.
That's longitude.
Go ahead, Kai, I'm sorry.
It is longitudes and latitudes. When you,
longitude and latitude.
You give it the time and date of birth, it's going to tell you 40 degrees north, this is south. So GPS system.
I would say this Marie Bontas, if I'm pronouncing the name correctly. If not, forgive me. She is, or I don't know why I'm saying this as she, but I'm going to assume she is a fire sign with an air number, which is a nice combination of the elements, okay? Because air stimulates fire and vice versa. It tells me, though, that she's very unique, sensitive, like to think outside the box. She has a mind of her own, and tend to be misunderstood. And I have this little phrase that if I had to hang on her door, it would be, to know her is to love her. Very sensitive, but yet this is her year, because this is the year of the 4. So that means when you add 2020, 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 0 is 4. So anyone born on the 4th of the month, the 13th, 1 plus 3 is 4, like her, the 22nd, 2 plus 2 is 4, or the 31st. This is a significant year for her. How so? It is a year to get her spiritual house in order. It tells me she's been doing a lot of soul searching since the fall of last year. And right now, she don't want people just dropping in on her because y'all ain't got nothing else to do and think you're going to hang out Because even her birthday suggests she likes to be her own best company. And normally she doesn't have an open door policy. And she's very different, very unique, and extremely sensitive, and always attract odd and unusual relationships, even when she was young.
And very good with her hands, maybe the artsy crafty or the artist decorating, sewing machines, writing, drawing, or I love to build houses, put homes together, and those kind of sorts of things. So I would say if she's whenever she's feeling in her funky kind of mode or mood swings, that one, take a deep breath, two, turn some music on, or three, just relax and just get yourself together.
December the 8th, Charmaine. Kaya?
This is a person that she needs to just be her own boss no matter what at all costs because as an 8 energy number, she's a fire sign with the earth number. She could run a company with her eyes closed. She can be the person that organize, get everything in order from top to bottom, to the shorter to the tallest. You don't have to ask this person about her work at all. From time to time, she go through separation with maybe her family. She may even be the black sheep in her family or the most oddest one. But you know, she distances herself maybe often in her family, but yet her circle of friends are very important. So maybe there was a grandmother or grandfather that helped raise her because her father had to work a lot, and so does she does too. Love to work a lot. She loves to make her money all day long if she could. But and she loves to set a foundation, and she has a strong family foundation with it, either whether it's her with her own children or her with her mother or father. Lloyd.
Yes, and by the way, her most important numbers, because see, we're all numbers. And my whole thing is from the womb to the tomb, you're a number. And in her case, being a Sagittarius 8, her numbers are the 8, 3, and 6. And since I know that, because so people say, well, do I take those numbers and go play them at the lottery? No, these numbers act as a guide. So 8 rules Saturday, 3 rules Thursday, 6 rules Friday. So the way the calendar works, you could safely say intelligently that any time she had to pick a day, that Thursday, Friday, Saturday would be her best days. In a long range in terms of the month, it means that January, March, and May, October, December are her standout months. In fact, she was born in the year of the 6th. So it means one of her parents could have been a Taurus or a Libra, or maybe born on the 6th, the 15th, or the 24th of the month. You cannot do anything without numbers. Nothing. And these are perfect examples. As for this person, she's a Pisces. Kaya?
She's a Pisces, a water sign with a air number. Oh, it's kind of tough sometimes because the water and the air, you know, they don't always mix together. But when you blend it all together, you have to control your emotions. You have to control a little bit of your temper as well too. But as a 14 person, I would say that you think very different from others. You probably thought you was odd and unusual one out your family members, out the crowd, your siblings, your sisters as well too. This person loves to think very differently, do her own little thing. So she may be the one that either doesn't follow the crowd, or even have her own business as well too. And as a 4 energy person, that she probably loves to listen to music or do something with the kind of mechanics or machinery or operates a cashier, anything that deals with machinery kind of things.
And she would have enough for math. Okay, the daughter. Oh, this is Teresa's daughter.
16, 8.
Now, Teresa, I'm trying to remember her birthday earlier.
Birthday was, hold on.
Was
Her
it
birthday
December 8th?
That was her birthday.
March
Yeah,
20th?
there you go. There you go. And
Wow.
listen, here's the interesting thing. Teresa's numbers are the 1, 4, and 9. If you switch to her daughter's, which is the 18th of August, her numbers are the 9, 1, and 4. So I would say this mother and daughter are like mirrors. That's exactly what. Oh, yeah. She's the 18th of August. Yep. So they have the same numbers, but in a different order, which means her daughter is going to be just as strong-willed as she is. So, Teresa, when your daughter challenges you, and sometimes, as you know how we kids are, we think the mother and father don't know squat, okay? Understand that she is a leader, just like you. Except 18 denotes the power of mediumship, to go in and out of the visible and invisible world, which means this particular daughter of hers will have some unique gifts along the metaphysical lines. In fact, Edgar Casey, the sleeping prophet, was born on the 18th of the month himself, but under the sign of Pisces. Well, she is under the sign of Leo, which means she can take these metaphysical gifts once properly guided and make something of herself too. And like her mother, she's a fighter. Like her mother, she don't take orders. And the only difference of the daughter and the mother is her birthday, the daughter that is, will tend to attract men who are either wearing uniforms or handling tools, machines, or instruments.
Yeah. And I would say that this daughter is very high spirit, so she may tell you she may even see spirits, or not trying to scare you, but not see dead people, but maybe hear voices in her head from time to time.
Yeah, that's that power of mediumship.
Yeah, that's
Now, in the case of Wizard, they're born the same day as J.P. Morgan, who was born on April the 17th. His lucky numbers are the 8, 9, and 6, which means his best days are always on a Saturday, a Tuesday, and a Friday in that order. So if you're saying, well, Lloyd, don't, Tuesday, Friday comes before so-and-so. I'm looking at his numbers. He's an 8 person born on the 17th. So that rules Saturday. So out of all 7 days assigned to us in this world, that's his best day. Then he's under the sign of Aries. That's ruled by 9, which is Tuesday, and then Friday. So if I had to do the way the calendar sequence would work, it would be Tuesday, Friday, Saturday. But because of his particular birthday configuration, it would be actually Saturday first, then Tuesday second, then Friday third. But this is a gentleman that as he gets older, his life gets better. And in fact, he was even conceived in the year of the 8, which was in, April, May, June, July. He was conceived this same month in 1988. Okay. And then he came out a year later, 9 months later, on April the 17th. So if he talked to his mom, he would tell you, yep, my mom and dad got real busy around the summer. It might have been vacation. They might have been at the beach, or whatever the case is. But he will always exhibit maturity. And as he gets older, his life gets better. I would say he had a rough beginning. Nobody can throw up in their face what they did for him. I carried you, because as far as he's concerned, he carried himself. But as he's gotten older, and he's about at that point, because with 8 people, their lives turn around between their 33rd and 35th birthday, and he's just about there.
Yeah, I would say from time to time he goes through a lot of being around a lot of conflict around him, or going through separation in families with either one of the grandparents, grandfather, grandmothers, and not only that he comes from a family line of people that have passed down of some kind of form of inheritance as well that he would have, whether it's jewelry, whether it's a home or a house, some kind of inheritance, or even inheritance from the family bloodline as well too.
Mm.
Thanks, Wizard. This is a person. Oh, this is one of our followers. This is our girl. She's in California.
Yeah.
Hi, Miss C. She is a Taurus. I tell people, if you want to know about the sign of a person, look at the symbol assigned to that particular sign. So since she's under the sign of Taurus, and the animal symbol is a bull, I would think, being a picture worth 1,000 words, you just don't walk up on no bull and be fooling around. You better know what you're doing. So it tells me right away she would be a no-joke person, nice, but until you get on her bad side. But her lucky numbers are the 5, the 6, and the 9. And it means that Wednesday, Friday, and Tuesdays are her best days. But she's in a year this year where she's ready to turn the corner in her life. She's in a 5 personal year. And how I did it, for those who may wonder, it's very simple. You take the month you're born and the day you were born, and you add it to the year. So mentally, when I took May 14th, added to the year 2020, she's in a 5 personal year. Now, what makes it unique is not only is she in a 5 personal year, but she's born on the 14th day of the month. 1 + 4 is 5. In addition, she's born in the 5th month of May. So this is definitely, without question, a turning point. She needs to get herself out there, write something, blog something, start a column, communicate, travel, change things around. And I would say anybody that's trying to sweat the sister, actually the secret to holding on to her is to give her some breathing room, because she's in an air cycle, which means she needs to breathe this year. Don't be sweating her. Asking her every morning where she going, because she'll say, didn't I tell you that yesterday? Okay.
Yeah, people always coming to her, giving her, asking for advice. She's like the problem solver. You know, she's get things done within 5 minutes, 5 hours, or by 5 o'clock that day. She got her issues resolved. Whatever the thing that she needed done, she's going to get on it. So people always seem to come to her, tell them their life stories, and within like minutes of her knowing, she can always go somewhere and attract anybody and anywhere. And you know, everybody asks her questions like she been there before, like she lived there. Like I just came here off the plane like you did. I don't know how to get here, but I'm gonna find out.
This person here, his name is Joe. He's here.
This particular person is a fire sign with the earth number, born in the year of the one. So I would say that if you look at it, and by the way, if persons who listen, they may need to turn their volume down, which is why you're getting this feedback. So I would take a page from Kaya and say that planetary wise, that Mars, Saturn, and the Sun would be strongly aspecting her chart. And that simply means that 8 is the number of maturity, Aries 9 is the number of assertiveness and rising to the top. And the year she's born in indicates that she's not going to retire. She will not.
This is a he. This is a he.
Oh, okay. See, I'm just, you know why?
Your sound was breaking up at that moment when I was saying to you, this is my friend. Sorry, this is a he.
Okay. Well, he don't take orders well. He's born the same day as Bob Johnson that founded BET, which supposedly became the first African-American billionaire in the United States. I hope he becomes a billionaire too, because he will be my next best friend, just like he's your best friend, okay? But he's very mature. It tells me older women introduced him to Sex 101 when he was a kid coming up. So, can you hear me, or is there still feedback?
I can hear you. I don't know where that feedback is coming from, though.
Yeah, that's why I'm wondering whether it was on his side that maybe he needs to turn his volume.
When you put yours on, the feedback comes in.
Oh, okay. Okay. But anyway, this is a man that's very mature, very business-like. He really needs to run his own business. If not, he will wind up being a manager, supervisor, director. He would do well in real estate, banking, law, working for institutional activities, whether it's for municipalities, whether it's institutional system like prison systems or whatever the case is, but very, very determined. And yet it indicates that he has musical talents within himself as well. He has a number 4 destiny. I don't know whether it's a master number 22, which means his course of life will be to be very different, to think in very unique ways and not follow the crowd. Just because everybody going to jump off the roof, that don't mean he got to do it. In fact, he does it anyway. He's always grown up with an independent spirit. And he's a late bloomer, which means he may be the last to marry, the last to have children, the last to find his place in the sun, but he's going to wind up having the last laugh, that's for sure. Kaya?
This is a lady who is the captain of her ship.
Hold up, my dear. Did you have anything to say on the one before?
I wanted to say that he's in the year where he's doing some self inner work, self inner cleanse. So I would say if he can, you know, most men take showers, but I would say get in the water, get in the tub, and let that energy of the past 6 years wear off, and just start imagining, sketching out what you want to do, because next year is your year for you to step into that big CEO, that big foundation year for you. So get your team members, get everybody on board, and how you want to go about your next year, because it's going to be very phenomenal for you. So write it down, review it, and just start planning out your day, because it's going to be very phenomenal. So I will advise you to get into it, and you'll be heading to a relationship year as well too. So you may meet someone or cancel your own relationship right now because it's not working out right now. So you have to make a decision by late September going into next year. And if you don't, it'll probably be sometime in May or April that you make that decision.
Thank you.
Kaya, the young lady.
Sorry, my thing came out. So this person is, I said she's a boss because she's loved to be her own boss. She's been like the helper all the time of her friends, her family, the counselor, the therapist. Everybody just comes to her for good sound advice. She's very easy on the eyes, so she probably either wear glasses or when it's a bright sunny day, she looking like Ray Charles with her glasses on. And I would say that she'd be a good editor or writer or a person that loves to direct her own affairs. And she really don't like to be told no, no. If you tell her no, that she can't do it, she's gonna go back and prove that she can do it.
I would also say for my birthday that she is very mature for her age. She's always been an old soul. And I would say things started turning around for her around about 33 to 36 years old. But she is forceful, she is dynamic, she is straight no chaser, and you can't be afraid that when she checks her brother, you can't be wimpy. You know what I'm saying? You want to have your way and show how strong you are. But you've met your match when you deal with this young lady. I can tell you that for sure. She take no prisoners. She take no nonsense off of anybody, and she actually gets along better with men. You try to get along with her sisters, but sometimes the sisters don't feel too comfortable, especially if other men are around in that space. Because I've always heard that women can be very tight, but when a man comes into the picture, into the room, every woman is for themselves. That's what women tell me anyway. I don't know how true that is, not being a woman, but that's what women tell me.
And she has to be careful around people that are a little bit envious or jealous of her too. So she may have some open enemies that mainly are your closest friends. So just watch how you operate around certain people, and what you say around certain people would be would be something that'd be great to you as well.
And her numbers are the 9, 1, and 4. Sugar Hartley, she is a Scorpio 5 person. She's a water sign with an air number, which means intuitions and reasoning or intellectual areas. Her numbers indicate she always knows somebody who knows somebody. That's how she met. Excuse me, her man, or at her job, or her car, or something of that nature. It tells me she's quick in thought, quick in action. It tells me that the secret of holding on to her is to let her go. And she works well under stress. And by the way, although she can speak the King's English, you get on her bad side, he'll give you some choice words that you'll be shocked to say, "That's you, sugar?" And you say, "Yes, it is." Okay? Long as you guys get the attention. Her birthday does suggest, though, she's been very independent since her youth. And probably between her 19th and 22nd birthday, she was out on her own doing things for sugar and what was best for her. This particular year, she happens to be in a 1 personal year, which means new beginnings, new starts, new directions, new attitudes. And anybody who's been dealing with her lately, if you're coming into this year with her, I'm sure she's changed up the rules. So you got a choice. You either go with the change or you go your own way. And she's at least giving you a choice.
I would say that this person, now she loves to tell a story, loves to paint a story real good. So she could be a great storyteller, a great story writer. She also can be the kind of person that loves to be the comedian of all the people. So she may be like a little Bernie Mac from time to time, love to break the ice of the room and the tension the tension that's going on around people and family. She's like almost like a peacemaker within the family, because she always seems to go through some kind of separation or some kind of advancement. Or so I would say even in school, she probably was double promoted in her growing up in her high school years, or even in her junior year, that she was always double promoted because she was very smart and talented. She's like the voice of reason to the family. Everybody always comes to her for her good sound advice and counsel, especially when it comes to crisis and family issues or even financial crisis. She knows how to get the job done.
Hip hop singer. Well, interesting, because this person born on the 21st is a 3. 3 is one of the arts. Singers, designers, fashionistas, photographers, painters, musicians. If not, they're patrons of the art. They like to go to museums and concerts and things like that. This person is very popular. One great artist I know named Brother Abdul Rahman is born on this day, November 21st. And so, but the point is, anybody born on this particular birthday always have a desire to make something of themselves, to not be a bump on the stump, but to really be somebody, to do something meaningful with their lives. And this particular year that they're in fact, is a 9 personal year. So since their numbers are the 3, 6, and 9, this is their year to manifest their dreams, and at the same time get rid of anybody or anyone that has not been as much value or waste to their efforts and whatnot. Their best days are always on a Thursday, followed by a Friday and a Tuesday. And this is a year to do some major things.
I would say this person loves to create. I'm not sure if it's a girl or a guy. However, she loves to do things with her hands or his hands. But she's emotionally attached. Maybe she could be a person that makes smell good, love candles, or bubble baths, or fragrance, or oils, things of those nature. But she is like the connector, the catalyst in her family, and everybody always come to her for good sound advice as well too. Or when things going left field, everybody seemed to come to her to bring the peace in the family, bring everybody together, even when it comes to her friends as well too. I would say him or her relationship status was always kind of like an up in the air kind of thing. So she has to be very selective or who she chooses to be her mate as well too. And there's always a significant woman that's been a part, whether it's a best friend or a sidekick or a mother in her life or his life.
Okay. This is an Aquarius 4 person.
Hold up, brother. Hold up, brother. Because something's going on with the sound. Terry, you hearing the sound? It's like someone's Surrey or something keeps activating and trying to respond to people's voice. My mic's muted, so I know it's not on my side. Has anyone got Surrey or something like that that's activating every time that someone's talking? Because it's affecting the information. Because I'm enjoying this right now, and I know the people are.
No.
Yeah, all right.
Could be because my computer is like kind of low right now.
Look, you see it there?
Well,
did you hear that noise again? That bing! Every time that someone talks, it's activating. I don't know whose it is, but yeah, I don't know whether that's on your side, Terry. But yeah, all right, let's crack on then and see if we could just push on through.
This is a very important year for this particular person, Empress, because of the fact that this year is the year of the 4. 4 rules the sign of Aquarius. That's her sign. Okay. Then she's born on the 4th day. And if you add 2020, those numbers add up to a 4. So without question, this is an important year. But then when I look at it in her personal year, she's in a 1 personal year, which means new beginnings, new directions, new opportunities, new exposures, a whole new mindset of how she's been dealing with this year. And so now she is in an 8 personal year. So she's in a pregnancy cycle this month that we're wrapping up, or may have been looking to see what's up. But next month for August, though, she will go into a month of fulfillment, a month that's going to really manifest and make some of her dreams come true, and yet get rid of things you no longer need either.
I would say that she definitely needs to strike out on her own some kind of way and start her own business. And this is where she can meet new alliances, new business partners, or just partners within her daily aspects will help her, guide her, and give her strength and some sense of directions of what area she needs to be need structure at in her life. Because for her, structure, routine, if she keep a structure and routine, then everything will flow right. But when there's unorganized, she's gonna be looking bananas. So she always asks herself what, when, and why, and how can I either better myself or improve things in certain areas in her life. So I would say stick to a routine, and then you'll do well.
Gentlemen, I gotta step away and get a charger. If not, the 3 of you will be on. Just bear with me a second.
Actually, my charger is going low too right now, so not sure how that's gonna work.
We haven't got long left.
Okay.
So we only got a few left, and then we
2 person 328. I think we read one already. 328.
Okay, but there's one. Okay, there's one.
My charger's acting up actually.
All right, I am back. I am ready for September the 11th. All righty. This particular person, it's interesting. Symbology 101. If you take out the 0, there's her 11. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So symbolically is her numbers. You know, in numerology, there are 2 master numbers. Now, some school of thought say there are 3. One is the 11, one is the 22, and the one that is taken on more of an acknowledgement in line with the master numbers 11 and 22 is 33. Now, 33, for those that are in the Masonic Lodge, when a person becomes a Shriner and they reach that high level in the order, they are called, they're 33 degrees, okay? The 11 represents people who are very visionary. Conceptually, they come up with ideas. You can talk to them, and in their minds, they can see a plan and see it in their heads. Master number 22, though, those are the ones who take those plans that's in one's head and make it a reality that's touchable, tangible, that you can examine in the physical world. The master number 33 represents those heightened awareness of service to humanity, service to the community, and duty, responsibilities, obligations, and a lifelong love of education and learning.
Okay. This is a special one.
I would say this person loves to be in math as well too. So very mathematically talented. I would say make sure you get him or her into math because she's very good in science. This person and also incorporate some music in this person's life because from time to time, you know, he or she is very easily wounded in her feelings. So let her teach her how to express him or herself more often. Or well, he's an older person now, or she is now, so he needs to be very open to expressing his thoughts. But the only thing is, everybody else can tell them their story, but when it comes to him telling them theirs, it's like they don't want to listen. So, and then that's when he get emotionally upset because when you cut this person off, or he or she gonna give you a piece of his mind for sure, no doubt. So to love this person, you need a hug at least 1 or twice a day, or even maybe once or twice a week. Drink plenty of water as well too.
This number is a special number.
What was the question?
Okay, we have another. Oh, this is him again. April 7th. Now he's saying he's born at 8:26 p.m. So in other words, what Kaya or any astrologer would need now is an ephemeris. An ephemeris, and they do have astrological apps now available on the phone. So what happens is when Kaya, excuse me, or any other astrologer would do this person's chart, they have all the key information except one thing is missing. Where on this planet was he born on April the 17th in 1989 in the military hour of 18:23 p.m., which would be 6:26 p.m. That's exactly when he was born. But where?
I would say looking at his numbers that I would say either Capricorn or Tauruses or Virgo would be very prominent in his chart. I would say mainly Capricorns though would be prominent. I don't know all the information, but just looking at the numbers, it looked like it'll be mainly Capricorns that's been very headstrong in his life, some form, way, shape, or form.
And what I would suggest is to contact Miss French and get an astrological chart done professionally. But at least now, because the only element that's missing is where was he born? Was he born in LA? Was he born in the UK? Was he born here in New York City? Was he born, in Egypt? So this is why when you any astrologer, the more you got, which is primarily the month, the year they're born, the time they were born, and the location. This can then tell the astrologer, whether it's Kai or anyone else, where exactly how the planets were aligned at their point upon their entry on Earth. Dale. Okay. Dale is born. Dale is a person. Dale is born on the 13th, and he has 4 letters in his name. And this is the year of the 4. And this is a year where he's in a very reflective, soul-searching mood. He doesn't feel like bothering with too many people. In fact, the name Del under the Chaldean system, because I'm doing it in my head mentally as I look at it, the name Del, in fact, adds up to 13. And he's born on the 13th. So I know Dale is a guy that's definitely in a class by himself. And with it being in a class by himself, he's going to create, unfortunately, people who are either jealous or envious or secretly admiring him. And all he's trying to do is love. His key numbers are the 4, 1, and 5. Sunday and Monday and Wednesdays are his best days. And as a rule, he does extremely well around February, June, July, August, and September, right around now. And very sensitive, by the way. Very, very sensitive guy.
I would say my friends are very important to me. So is my family as well too, because he always grown up around older women or his elders. And when I'm talking about elders, I'm talking about great people in his family that lives a long time in his family. They have good structure, good body structure. They may go through some arthritis or joint pains, ankles as well. Even him himself may have some ankles or knees or swelling, his hips or thighs as well too from time to time. But yes, if you pull up at his house, may not just answer the door if you come, unannounced. And if you are one of his good friends, he may just open the door for you. So it's the fact that his first name ends with a D, which is a 4, and his 13 is a 4. I would say this person is very the most out the odd and usual out the family that probably gets things done quicker than most people, or think very differently or ahead of his time, even when he was a kid.
Yeah. Okay, I would say Jermaine Melville has what is called personality. Okay, personality in a sense that he has a very magnetic energy about him. In school as a child, he was probably the crowd pleaser, the teacher's pet. Jermaine has a way of looking at people. He may have been very athletically inclined too, especially toward balls. It's interesting because when I met Shaquille O'Neal, the famous basketball player that's like 9 feet, he's not really 9 feet, but he might as well be me looking at him. He exhibits those same numbers. So Jermaine has 3 areas he can go in quickly. He can go into the area of service, being a teacher, a nurse, a counselor, social worker. He could do well in the arts, that is a musician, painter, singer, artist, and he could do well in business like real estate, banking, law. Whatever it is, though, money, gifts, and favors will always come to him. Every now and then he will be challenged with the respiratory part of the body, allergies, maybe heart palpitations, irregular blood circulations, and women will sometimes accuse him of having control issues, but he likes things done a certain way. So it all depends on the woman in his life. So Jermaine, I'm saying, I know you're a nice guy. I know you got great personality. And I know there's a way you like to run your home and run your relationships. But it all depends on the woman you get with. So if you got a woman that's very independent, if you want to keep her, don't fight her. And so it's about making adjustments. That's all. And he's got nice taste too. Very nice.
I would say this man is very well dressed, very always coordinated, probably smell good, look good, always surrounded by women. So if you have a girlfriend, just know there's going to be other women around, whether they're at work, whether they're your friends, and even your mother or your sister. Like your mother is your rock. If she plays a very special role in your life, or either it's a sister or some form of a woman relationship. So if you get into a relationship with other women, you have to know, listen, hey, I'm always surrounded by beautiful women. Okay. And they are always coming to me for good sound advice, relationship issues, how do I look, how I dress, all these silly kind of things that women ask about themselves when it comes to a man. So I would say, yes, he'd be very, very skilled, talented in the arts and craft, or even with the painting, those kind of things as well, too. I would just say, listen more to the women, and don't be so over excessive with them.
Okay, he says her mother's birthday is the 31st of March, which makes her an Aries 4 person. That means her mother tends to be misunderstood. Yet, knowing her mother as she probably does, she'll find that she's extremely sensitive, easily wounded in her feelings. People think they can talk to her any kind of way, and it doesn't go well. And her mother's numbers are the 4, 1, and 9. And it means that Sunday and Tuesday and Wednesdays are her best days. And especially in the months of February, April, June, August, and November. These are her primary months. And looking at the year, She is in a year where things are kind of iffy and up in the air for her, where it relates to residential changes, relationship changes, or even changes at the workplace.
I would definitely say she needs to hoard some money, put some money up, save some money right now because it can, like Lloyd said, be up in the air, kind of iffy right now. So hold on to your money. Don't be spending so fast because we are in a cycle where people are just spending for no reason. You don't need to buy that shirt because you got plenty of shirts in your room or in your house somewhere. So I would say that this person that, she's very emotionally distressed at times. So I would say talk to her, open her up, have a cup of tea with this person or woman, get to know her story because how people make her feel is very more vital than anything else. So make sure you treat this woman with a lot of love, a lot of care, and a lot of respect because she does have a strong foundation, but she also come from a very foundation where a lot of separation has been going on in her life, and she just hold those so dear in her heart so close. So I would just say really to love her is really to know her. So get to know this woman.
Yeah. Okay, here we have another four.
So
It's interesting. The opposition sign to Aries is Libra, this sign. So in one sense, they would have what is called a love-hate relationship. Let's say A knew the person's mother who was born on the first. The difference is if you flip 31 around, you got 13. So that means that this particular person's numbers are the 4, 1, and 5. It means that Sunday, Monday, and Wednesdays are their best days, along with February, June, July, August, September being their best times of the year. And this person, though, unlike the last caller who was born on the 31st, or Nikita's mother, this person is in a 9 personal year. In other words, they're about to wrap it up. This is their year to cut their losses, get rid of anything or anyone that they feel they've outgrown, no longer need. It's been a waste of their time, effort, and energy. So when next year breaks out, which will be in October of this year coming up, it set the stage for what is to come for 2021, which means she'll be more than ready, or they will be more than ready for a change.
yeah, and I would say, and if you're really, really ready to let these people go, let them go. Do not bring this energy into 2021 because you're gonna be dealing with the same issue, the same problems. And if you're really tired of it and fed up, then cut your losses and walk away. It's the best thing you can do for yourself and on your mental and emotional strain as well too. So do what it is what you ever want to do, make it happen this year. And you know how you already are. You always the oddest one of the family that does things totally different, go a different kind of way. Even walk down the street different, different. So if somebody else doing one thing on the other side of the block, you're gonna make your business to go on the other side of the street and get out their way. So that's that energy on that 4 energy person. Also, just make your own way right now.
Yep. Yes, I am. Good. And 4s are normally geniuses too. They're brilliant in their own special way. And they normally have mechanical and mathematical gifts, either related to their hands, to numbers, things of that nature. She's okay. This is Charmaine again. She's born in the UK, for which we don't have an ephemeris right now. And she's born at 2:08 now. Oh, that's military time. So that means it's 2:08 p.m. That's when she was born. Okay, good enough. So she's an afternoon baby. So what you would need to do later on, as we're wrapping up the show, when Ms. Frank gives out her information, reach out to her, contact her through either her phone or her email, and she will give you more of the particulars of your ascendant, your moon. Your sun, we know, is in Sagittarius, but you never know, and you get a lot more information.
I would say, just looking at her time of birth, that this person does need to be her own boss, no matter what, at all costs. So that's pretty much for just looking at her numbers. Don't worry about what people say about you, how they feel about you. Just know how you feel about yourself is very more important than anybody else feel about you.
Makes sense.
Okay, the last one.
March 15th. Okay, that's not the same one for March 15th, about 3. No, it's not.
So this person probably loves to cook, loves to bring a family together, always in duty responsibility, gathering up people, maybe always surrounded by somebody either graduating in pregnancy or birth, or even always educating herself as well too. Maybe come from a huge background of family. Everything she does, whether it's in family gatherings, socially, everything has to be like big and grand. Maybe her house is like big and grand with nice little blue or gold colors in her home, or maybe some green as well too.
Mhm.
I would say that she may go through some emotional from time to time upsets, but she's very, very talented when it comes to teaching, when it comes to being people therapists, people guiders, their counselors. She could even be a psychologist if she ever go to school for that. That would be one of her good traits as well too. Lloyd, want to add to that?
Well, yes, I would say she has a nice combination because she's a water sign with an earth number. So that means she's a nurturer. She knows how to embody the raising of a family. She would insist that all her children go to school. None of her children gonna say, "Mom, I'm quitting school," because their thing is, you quitting school, you ain't living here. You must obviously have your own place. That's how much love and respect she has for knowledge, education, and I would describe her as simply a woman who's always a work in progress, wanting to evolve, wanting to grow, and very much influenced by third parties in her life over and above her mom and dad as well. And her lucky numbers, by the way, are the 6, 3, and 9, which tells me she has artistic leaning toward the arts, and it's interesting. I noticed with 3, that side of them, they tend to do well in the pharmaceutical business too. They might experience what is called panic attacks or things of that nature, but over and above that, she's solid as a rock, very dependable, quite attractive from the birthday potentially she gave me, and uh, and very nice taste. Almost everything she likes, she really can't afford it, but she's got nice taste anyway.
Okay. So in future tenses, what's happening with the both of you in forms of the future? Lloyd, what's happening?
Well, I am working on a project that probably when you have me on next month, it will be more of a reality that I'd like to share, but I don't want to let the cat out of the bag just yet. But it's going to be something very exciting. But I will say for the future, I want people to enroll in my online numerology course. It's called Learn from Lloyd, How to Read a Person Like a Book. Okay. And what they do to sign on, they go to my website, Lloyd-Strayhorn.com. So for the newbies, let me spell it. My name is Lloyd dash Strayhorn, just like it sounds. STRAYHORN. So it's Lloyd-Strayhorn.com. Sign on. A couple of things. You can get your reading for the year because I have a thing denoting the horoscope. Kaya and I also do a monthly newsletter that's absolutely free. All you got to do is go to the website, put in your email address, your name, your birthday, which is optional, and you will automatically get the email for July. We're working on the August one now. And you can always call for appointments, which you can schedule on my website, or you can call my toll-free number, which is 1-800-581-4401. I'll repeat that, 1-800-581-4401.
Okay. So Sister Kaya.
Yeah, so my contact number is 1-866-331-5088. Once again, that is 1-866-331-5088. My website is my name, which is Kaya, Kya, French, French. Once again, that's KYA, French.com. I also have an Instagram where I update the weekly column horoscope that I write for New York Amsterdam. They come out every Thursday. And that Know Your Numbers is KNOWYOURNUMB, the number 3RS at Know Your Numbers on Instagram. And like I just stated, that every Thursday, if you can go online and look at the New York Amsterdam news, and you can see that column will be there. The Zodiac column will be there every Thursday as well.
Okay. And if you really want to get close and meet Kaz very soon, you can join the International Sister Circle, which is internationalsistercircle.com. Register yourself and become one of the sisters, and you will get the privilege of what sisters can offer. Okay, so
and the next time you'll have your event there in the UK, hopefully travel bans will be restricted. I mean, loosened up. So, because we'd love to come to the UK. I've never been across the pond.
Yeah.
It would be nice to come across there and visit. That I can tell you.
100%.
Yeah, that'll be tidy. That'll be tidy. Brother, I wanted to ask you, are you related to Billy Strayhorn?
Yes, and I'm a musician too. Yes, I play flute.
Okay, that's all. That's all.
Thank you.
You've made them excited, Lloyd.
Yeah, that's it.
I hear him in the background.
I know where the Duke Ellington connection.
Well, you know what's interesting is this. Duke Ellington was born on the 29th, and Billy Strayhorn was born on the 29th. And in fact, there was a series, because there's a biography of a book written about him, that Duke Ellington and Billy Strayhorn separately were writing something, and about the first 5 to 8 measures of it was identical.
All right. So,
very interesting. Yeah, we're gonna expand on that conversation now that we know
We'll
that.
have to talk about that again. But he wrote Train, Passion Flower, all those classics that has been associated with Duke Ellington. Billy Strayhorn wrote.
That's true. Yeah. We're definitely gonna have to chop that up a bit next time you come on next month.
Be my pleasure.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, my brother. Much appreciated coming.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Any last words from our visitors, Lloyd and Kaya, to the public?
Well, on my side, this virus is still around the globe. I would say there's no substitute for exercising patience and common sense if you want to see another day. And this is those who love their lives, love their family members, and also take care of each other. There's something that seems that people want to poison the water in turn, but yet we're all in the same boat, believe it or not. And when you're dangling from the cliff of life, I have no problem to come and help me out that cliff, okay? Regardless. Kaya?
I would say, sometimes, and when times are not normal, we have to act like it's not normal. So we have to learn how to love from a distance, because I'd rather love from a distance than see you out here, trying to fight for your life right now. So it's best to really protect yourself at all costs, you and your family, and take this seriously. You don't think it's just a joke, even though some may think it is. But really, if you look around, what's going on around you, just don't be fooled that they can come up to your doorsteps at any given moment. So I would just say, be mindful, love one another, spread the love, call someone you haven't talked to, whether it's an outsider or a family, whoever it is, check in on them, see how they're doing. That can be something that can be brighten up their day. That we all need to do is check up on our relatives, and just speak some kind words into existence, and lift one another person up during these times of hard times, because we all are going through it. We all in the same boat right now. So even the starring celebrities going through it right now. So we all in the same boat. So I would just say, pick up the phone, call one another, let them know how you feel.
And it doesn't cost a dime to be nice and civil to one another either.
Yes. Spread.
Not a penny.
Richie, do you have your last words?
No. Yeah. Much appreciated to everybody that's been tuning in. You've called a new discussion down that Duke Ellington bit. I like just that piece of information. But I've really enjoyed the sister as well joining you. Thank you, Kaya, as well. You added a different and a new spin on everything our elders come on and said. Big up to everybody in the chat room for being interactive, putting up your dates, putting up your comments, and pressing that like. And if you haven't done it already, please go away, deal with that. And after the show, make sure to share it out, because I know loads of people are interested in these subject matters and would probably love to interact with the brother and the sister next time they come on. So make sure you do that. But again, from my heart, a special thank you. And again, I always enjoy your vibe always light-hearted and very approachable. So yeah, much
Thank
appreciated.
you very much.
Yes, thank you for having us on your show today. Appreciate it. Much love and peace, love, and prosperity.
Oh, and
Most
listen, isn't your friend Richie born May 29th or something like that?
No, he was my friend here.
Oh, the lady friend.
No, this is Joe. His name is. He's April the 13th.
No, I'm talking about your lady friend. Your lady friend.
Oh. You know. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Next time.
You You're killing me.
I'm only messing with him. I want to make sure Richie doesn't sleep at the wheel. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
High, okay.
As you heard about Richie, he can run with this now. But I love you, family, and we are out.
Absolutely. So that's what he just drew cards and remembered it. That's why he just started.